2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday the 14th of July and it's Bastille Day. And a big happy birthday to David Mitchell, Conor McGregor and Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
7.
The government's expected to announce today that face masks will become compulsory in shops. Matt Lavish Holidays Hancock will tell the Commons that this will take effect from July the 24th, with a £100 fine for non-compliance. Boris did hint heavily that this would be the case yesterday.
Yes, face coverings I think people should be wearing in shops. And in terms of how we do that, whether we make it mandatory or not, we'll be looking at the guidance. We'll be saying a little bit more in the next few days.
Meanwhile, it's full steam ahead for Brexit as Priti Patel announced new immigration rules and Michael Gove outlined plans in Parliament.
We're launching a major new public information campaign to make sure that everyone has the facts they need about the actions that we all need to take in order to be ready. And we're also releasing for the first time an operating model for the border that will benefit importers and exporters and provide information to hauliers, shippers, freight companies and our customs intermediaries.
Following her arrest at her estate, aptly named Tucked Away last week, Ghislaine Maxwell's due in court today, and the lawyer for some of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, Gloria Allred, spoke to Channel 4 News. She thinks it's unlikely that Ghislaine will take the stand, but that she might take a plea deal. She was asked if it was likely that there was video footage of Prince Andrew visiting Epstein's properties, and why there seems to be so much confusion between his legal team and the Department of Justice.
There were cameras. I know that. And this is very disturbing to some victims. I represent 17 victims of Jeffrey Epstein. It may be that there are conditions set by Prince Andrew's legal representatives. Maybe they are saying, look, Prince Andrew will answer certain written questions, but he will not sit for an interview and answer questions that the FBI poses to him.
America's in real trouble with coronavirus as it continues to break records for new cases. In fact, if Florida was treated as a country, it would be 4th in the world. Meanwhile, President Trump continues to fudge and deny, pointing the finger at Obama for stopping testing for a disease that didn't exist until 2019.
Do you acknowledge that it's going up for other reasons too? For example, that it's actually spreading? And what are you going to do to stop the spread?
Well, you know that we have one of the lowest mortality rates anywhere. If you know Biden and Obama stopped their testing, they just stopped it. You probably know that. I'm sure you don't want to report it. But they stopped testing right in the middle. They just went, no more testing.
He also continues to willfully misunderstand just how testing works.
As an example, we've done 45 million tests. If we did half that number, you'd have half the cases, probably around that number. If we did another half of that, you'd have half the numbers. Everyone would be saying, oh, we're doing so well on cases. But when I see it reported in the night, you can check me out on this. I mean, they're always talking about cases, the number of cases. Well, it is a big factor that we do. We have a lot of cases because we have a lot of testing, far more than any other country in the world. And it's also the best tested.
Johnny Depp's libel trial continues as he wrapped up 4 days on the stand. He told the court how his former financial advisors made off with $650 million, all of his profits from Pirates of the Caribbean. Plus, he says they hadn't been paying his taxes either, so he owed a further $100 million on top of that. He found out all about this in 2016, which he says made him stressed. We've actually come across what might be some live audio from the negotiations with the business advisors.
I want 50% of your plunder.
15.
40.
25.
I'll buy you the half.
It was a mixed day for Manchester football teams yesterday. Man City got good news as their Champions League ban was overturned by the Court of Arbitration in Sport, which means they'll be playing in Europe next year, and it also puts pressure on the battle for the top 4 in the Premier League. Manchester United could have entered the top 4 last night, but instead they dropped 2 points with a last-gasp equaliser from Southampton substitute Michael Obafemi. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was full of praise for Southampton and their musical approach to football.
Yeah. They are what they are, and they make it hard for you. Then they are heavy metal football. It's 100 miles an hour all the time, very positive. I think the game was a very good game of football, proper game of football with tackles, chances both ends, two teams that want to win, want to attack. So can't say I enjoyed watching, because I'm not here to enjoy the game, but I'm sure many people will have enjoyed it.
On the 35th anniversary of Live Aid, it took place in 1985, organiser and Scottish legend Midge Ure popped up on This Morning to share his memories of the biggest live concert the world had ever seen.
It was a day where everybody involved, that's the audience watching on television, the crew, the lighting engineers, the sound engineers, the caterers, the truckers, the security, absolutely everybody involved did something magnificent.
Really sad news yesterday as actress Kelly Preston died of breast cancer after a 2-year battle. She was only 57. She was married to John Travolta. They eloped to Paris in 1991 to get married, and she starred in many TV shows including CSI and movies like Twins, Jerry Maguire and Gotti. Here she is giving Tom Cruise a piece of her mind.
What was our deal when we first got together? Brutal truth, remember?
I think you added the brutal.
Jerry, there is a sensitivity thing that some people have. I don't have it. I don't cry at movies. I don't gush over babies. I don't start celebrating Christmas 5 months early, and I don't tell a man who just screwed up both our lives, oh, poor baby. That's me, for better or worse. But I do love you.
This has been the Smart 7. Be smart, wear a mask. We've got an Alexa skill now, so enable us and then just say, Alexa, play the Smart 7. We're back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.